What's up guys, I'm Fire, and today I got some really awesome news to tell you about. If you guys have not known yet, DICE has finally revealed a teaser for Battlefield 4 that's going to be coming out in March 26th when it's going to be revealed. And then we'll get to see our very first look at it on the 27th. And I cannot wait for this. And when I saw this teaser for a teaser trailer, it was awesome. I'm going to put a link down in the description below so that way you'll be able to see it if you haven't seen it. And also a link to the Battlefield article that was put on Battlelog. And you don't have to be a premium member in order to see it. You just have to go to their link and you'll get a really cool, I guess it's just a basic little dog tag if you get it. It says I was there, and you see the little concept art in the background. So what I wanted to talk about this was that in the 20-second trailer that Battlefield has posted on their YouTube channel and on Battlelog, it showed a little sneak peek of what it looks to be a submarine. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this, if this is true. If it's a submarine, that's awesome, because it is underwater. You hear the little sound effects underwater. You don't really, I don't think it would be a giant, like a carrier or a battleship. It could be a battleship. So I really can't wait for this, and I am so excited. And when I was thinking about this, I started thinking of a few ideas that is related to a submarine, and seeing how DICE could make this work even more than expected. Because when I saw that trailer, I started thinking, alright, so here's some scenarios that I was thinking of. I haven't played Battlefield 2 on the PC. I just recently started playing the Battlefield series back when Bad Company came out for the consoles, and that's what really got me into the whole Battlefield series and the franchise. And now I'm completely hooked to it, because I used to be Halo, then I went to Call of Duty, and then I went to Battlefield, and I'm just in love with Battlefield now. So what I wanted to say was, when I was thinking about this submarines, and I know this is probably, I don't think it's in Battlefield 2, I don't think so, because I haven't seen any kind of gameplay for it, but I was thinking of, since we're going to have squads, you could have up to 4 people in a submarine. There's going to be 4 seats for the squads to be in each submarine. And since we're going to have 64 player servers on consoles and PC, I'm not sure about PC. They could even go up to 128. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see about that. But since it's going to have a lot more people in it, and they're going to go into the sea, there could be 4 people for each submarine. So you're going to have the driver, you're going to have the captain, the gunner, and an engineer. And what I wanted to think about this was that the pilot, of course, would be the one doing the controls and driving the submarine around. The captain will be in control of the radar. And I know these are 2 different things, but it'll give the captain a sense of some kind of role, so that way the captain will be able to tell everybody, hey, go to this spot. He can see the radar and spot people and be able to tell everybody where to go. And since he's the only one with radar, it's going to make the captain even more special. So then we have that. Then we have the gunner, obviously, the person shooting everything. And then we have the engineer. Now, the engineer, I was thinking of, you can actually walk around in the submarine. You don't actually have to be in sitting down in a chair. You can actually move around. And when I was thinking about that, I was like, all right, so maybe if he's getting hit, the engineer guy can run all the way to the back. And since this is a video game, he can just have that repair tool and go shh at the little places that needs repairs. And every time they get hit, water will start coming through the walls and making the water level rise. And whenever the water level rises too much, everything will start shaking, and they're eventually gonna be drowned. They're gonna drown in the water, and it'll have a little animation where they're trying to swim, and they're like, oh no, and then they drown, and it'll have a little animation. So that way it will have some kind of sense of intensity, and saying if you're going to get hit, you're going to sink, and then you're of course going to die and drown underwater in a submarine. That's going to make it scary, you know? And you want to put that in the mind. You want to make that seem real, not so much as the graphics, but as so much as the feeling of being in a submarine and making it really awesome. And not only are you able to move around in the submarine, everybody is going to be able to do that, so that way you can switch seats. You can actually see that you're switching seats with someone. What if the captain wants to be the gunner, and the gunner wants to be an engineer because he wants to run around the submarine? You'll be able to do that. And when I was thinking about running around in a sub, I was also thinking of, what if the enemy team wants to board your submarine and take control of it? When I was thinking about this, I was instantly thinking of that movie U-571, which is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it. So what they did was they actually they attacked an enemy submarine, took control of it. So think of it like this. So let's say we have the U.S. team boarding onto a Russian sub, and they put a charge on it or something. They get inside, and one person stays in their sub, so that way they can be able to protect it from anyone else trying to take theirs. And then the U.S. soldiers go inside the sub. There's only going to be 3, and there's 4 in the enemy sub, and they take out the engineer because he has no idea what's going on. And then he's like, oh crap, and everybody is going to be in this huge gunfight inside a submarine. What would you guys think about that? I actually think it would be so awesome to see like a really good gunfight inside. Now, take away the whole suppression thing where it's going to make your bullets go all over the place, and take away the deviation of bullets, and just keep the blurry of vision. Now, put that in a small, close quarters, linear kind of surrounding, because you're inside a submarine and you're fighting inside, and then also have enemies shooting at your sub, so things are sometimes they're going to shake if they're under a gunfight. So that would be really cool. And when they're able to take them all out, the guys that own the sub can't spawn in there anymore because they just lost their sub to the people that are just taking control of it. And then when I was thinking about this, alright, so what they can do is they can be riding this enemy sub and a surprise attack the other subs, that because they think that you're on their team. And when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, so you're going to have to balance this out, because then it's going to be a little overpowered, and they're going to be able to just destroy the enemy team subs on the other side where they spawn, and it'll just become a mess because people will just start complaining. And I was like, okay, so what I was thinking was the captain would be able to spot the sub that was taken over. All right, so they're able to see it, and they're like, okay, that's a friendly sub, and they're gonna ride right next to it, and then all of a sudden, boom, they get hit by it, and they're like, oh crap! So it's either one of two things: either they're getting hit by friendly, and they're just trying to betray them. Even if there's no friendly fire, they're just shooting at them, but they got hit. So if you're not playing on hardcore, it's probably because the enemy has taken control of one of your own subs. Now, of course, if your team was communicating with each other, they would know about that, but if not, that sub is pretty much screwed because they're getting a surprise attack by an enemy who's in one of their subs. And now make it to where you can't spot him. You can see him, and you can like spot him, but you won't know that it's an enemy. And that's what I was thinking of, so that way you'll be able to surprise attack the enemy, and it'll go both ways. And again, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but that would be really cool to see. And then of course, I was also thinking, alright, so if you're gonna have a submarine, you're gonna have to give them some kind of role, because if you're just gonna make them shooting at other subs, it's gonna get old fast, and it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's gonna get old and boring. Because what are they going to do for the infantry and air vehicles that are actually doing something on the map? It's going to be old. They're not going to contribute to the game. They're just going to be like a team deathmatch kind of style underwater or on the surface. And it's just going to be old. So I was thinking, alright, so besides just attacking other submarines, they can also take out battleships. They can take out carriers. Since a carrier is actually in Battlefield 3, you just can't control it. And since it's already in there, they can actually allow you to control it. And when you're doing that, you'll be able to like reposition where you want your vehicles to spawn. You can reposition where you want the jets to take off, and it would make it so much more elaborate. And that way it'll be more intense. So you actually strategize where you want to put your vehicles at. If you want to put them right next to the enemy base, they're going to get destroyed pretty fast. So I don't think you're going to want to put them there. And since you're able to do that, the subs will be able to attack it. Now, you also have to remember that subs have to be vulnerable when they're on the surface. So they're easily going to be taken out by air vehicles if they're right in the surface, not underwater. And if they're underwater, you have to give the boats a chance to attack it, putting those barrels down that explode and go boom, 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 boom underwater. And when I was thinking about that is if they're doing that, and the sub is getting hit, bouncing around everything, water starts coming through, the engineer can't take care of everything, so of course it's going to start like leaking water, and the water's going to rise, and then of course everyone drowns under the water. Now you're able to actually get out. Maybe you actually have a small chance of getting out if you're really close to the surface, but if not, you're going to be swimming underwater, and then of course you'll drown. You don't get to like survive that long. So when I was really thinking about this, and I think it would be pretty cool to see something like that. You give another dynamic kind of thing when working with submarines. You don't have to just make it to where you're controlling a sub, you shoot the other sub, then what? What do you do after that? It would be pretty much like a TDM for water. And when I was thinking about that, you can also have maybe a little bird or just an ordinary chopper. They go over there, get on top of the sub, drop off a few people, get inside, take control of it, and boom, you got yourself another fight underwater or on top of a sub. So this is what I was thinking about with the whole submarine thing, and maybe even putting a battleship, maybe allowing carriers to be controlled. Even a battleship, you'll be able to contribute to the people on land. Maybe there could be even like a invisible flag in the water, so that way you can control that area and be able to spawn your boats around there. Now, since the carriers can be attacked, what I'm thinking that carriers can be attacked and blown up if you actually do that, because there's going to be battleships, submarines, jets, and everything you attack it, right? So it's going to blow up eventually, and when that happens, you have to wait about 3 or 5 minutes for another one to come back. If you notice in Cargo Island, there's going to be other battleships and other carriers in the distance. Like, you can't do anything with them, you can't interact with them, so they're just going to be out there in the distance. And when a carrier gets destroyed, another one can just come by. Now, obviously, this is going to take some time. It's not going to go super fast and go, whoop, I'm here again. No, it's going to take around, I'm going to give it around 3 or 5 minutes, and then it'll come back, and you'll be able to reposition it again and be able to spawn on it. And as soon as it gets in that range, jets can finally be taken off. So if a carrier gets destroyed, you're going to be at a disadvantage. You're not going to be able to spawn your choppers, your jets. So carriers are going to be a huge priority to protect, which is why the submarines have a huge responsibility to protect that thing from getting destroyed. Take out the enemy's subs, maybe even control one enemy sub, and then protect it. Otherwise, your air vehicles and maybe even your land vehicles are going to be at a huge disadvantage. And that's why I was thinking that this will give it a whole new kind of feeling of strategic kind of value to it, and you'll be able to do things that you couldn't do in Battlefield 3. It would be so much more dynamic, it would be more intense, it would be more awesome. Now, what I was also thinking about the voice chat, I think it's in Arma 2, Arma 3 now, where you can only talk to people who are near you. And I heard some people talk about this, and that you can easily talk to your squad that's next to you, but if they're in a certain distance away and that they're far across the other side of the map, you won't be able to talk to them. You can only talk to people when they're in a certain area. So that way, you won't be able to, like, say, oh, I died, let me tell you where they're at. And no, it's like, okay, so the only way to communicate from someone across the side is if you have a certain radio. And that would be like an equipment. Like, you have some type of radio to contact somebody across the map and say, hey, we need help over here. And they're like, oh, roger that. And they come and help. So it would be pretty cool, because that's something that's in real life. You got to use a radio to communicate. And if you have something jamming that radio, they can't communicate with each other. They're going to have a lot of big problems. And then it's just something that could be done. It could be an option that you can turn off or turn on. And there's always going to be the party chat, so you don't really have to worry about that. But it could be an admin thing. It could be turned off and on. You don't even have to always be in a game mode like that. Or you can be in a normal one, like it is in Battlefield 3, where you're able to talk to everybody and anybody on your team. So that's just a few of my opinions and what I was thinking about the whole submarines and water warfare. And check out that little teaser trailer, guys, if you haven't seen it, because if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's only 20 seconds long, and even though it's only 20 seconds long, it raised so much stuff, and I'm definitely saying that this teaser is definitely a teaser, because I'm so excited. I can't even, like, I don't know, I'm just so excited. I cannot wait until Tuesday and Wednesday to finally see this, and I'm hoping it's going to be awesome. And they're not going to show just a few seconds and then boom, there you go, we revealed the gameplay. It's only 20 seconds, but we revealed the gameplay. No, I want to actually see the game. I want to see what it can do. I want to see some new features. I want things to be pushed to the next level. Now that these next gen consoles are out, DICE doesn't have a clutch that they have to remember. Alright, I have to remember that these old consoles can't handle that much. With these new generation consoles, they're actually able to do more. They can be pushed to the limit and do something with it. I just cannot wait for this. I hope you guys are excited just as much as I am. And as always, I'm Fire, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a little comment below and a like, because it really does help me out. And stay tuned, because I will be talking more about Battlefield 4 when it starts coming back up next week. And if you want to see more, just hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.